Poor Jonathan Majors. He's been dropped by his management and PR companies.
So he really did whoop her.
I know. I mean, there people are making up their minds and stuff before people are really found truthfully. I haven't heard anything about his case.
Maybe,
so this.
he said splitting ways. It might have been his decision.
Get the fuck out of here.
It said.
Did you hear what you said?
The stories say that they both dropped him.
Listen,
So,
if you out with a Caucasian woman and catch a battery case, all them people that smile with you gonna pull it. Let me tell you something. If they tried to give me a Heisman or anything like a Heisman, I don't want it. I remember when they took that Heisman back from Mike Vick and the other brother, Reggie Bush.
Wow.
You can't give me none of that shit.
Jonathan Majors has been going through a lot of tough ordeals in the last 1 to 2 months. He had a Caucasian girlfriend, and it appears that relationship is over. For the fact that the police were called, he was charged with some sort of battery against her. He lost a lot of major sponsorships. Then he had some classmates that came from, the New York City area that said that he was an abusive person. This is what he typically does. And his reputation has tanked, although he was a skyrocketing star in Hollywood. And with losing your brands and your management and being knocked down right to the bottom, guess what Jonathan Majors is doing now? Well, Jonathan Majors is back on Team Black, and he's moved on, dating Meagan Good. Now, before I get to the Meagan Good situation, we heard Corey Holcomb earlier. I want to give Dr. Umar Johnson some time here to explain what is really going on with interracial marriage, why it's a trap, and why it's really not good for black people and white people, in his opinion, to race mix. Let me play this clip and I'm going to come back.
The reason why they want African people to mix your seeds with non-Africans, especially Europeans, but non-Africans, number one, to reduce the amount of black people in this country who identify as black. Stay with me. I need you to understand, overstand, and understand. They are mixed racing black people out of existence. I'm going to say it again. They are mixed racing black people out of existence. I'm going to say it one more time. They are mixed racing black people out of existence. Now, some of you are going to say, Dr. Umar, you just said mixed race Africans are African. Yes, I did. But a lot of mixed race Africans don't identify as African. From 2000 to 2010, we saw the amount of Africans who call themselves mixed race on the U.S. Census grow exponentially. From 2000 until Barack Obama's election, from the year 2000 to mixed race Obama's election, we saw the amount of blacks who disidentify from being African American into being mixed race, multicultural, biracial. It grew up. So the more black people mix their seed, the smaller the amount of black people appear on paper. Listen to me. The more mixed race Africans identify as something other than African, the smaller our population appears to look in this country. I'll give you an example. According to the 2020 census, Black America is 14% of the country. According to the 2020 census. The 2000 census, we were 17%. The 2000 census, we were approximately 17% of America. Right now, they're saying we're 14% of America. My question to you, what happened to that 3% of African Americans?
You see, he made a pretty interesting statement there. In 2000, Black America was 17% of the population. We are now down to 14% in 2000. I believe now less than 12%. So now, how do you influence interracial dating in America? One is with actors. It's with singers. It's with athletes. We understand that happens. We also know that a lot of black men get exposed to let's say white women when they're in college, at work, some brothers live in different cities, and I get it. But the question is, why is Jonathan Majors not dealing with somebody white? I have a few reasons. Number one, he's dealing with somebody who has something to lose now, regardless of color, right? He's going to deal with Meagan Good because Meagan Good, that's the best that she probably can do. Definitely, it's an upgrade for her. But also, Meagan Good is an actress. She's in Hollywood. So she's going to have something to lose in the relationship if something goes out. Okay, that's number one. Number two, she's also very beautiful and she's black. And Jonathan Majors understands that this is the way to go. And that's why so many people believe it's a publicity stunt, and it may be, but here's what you got to understand. And I know that you have some brothers who are in interracial relationships. They've been successful, and I'm not here to talk about you or your wife. But me as a black person, you always going to get more from your own people. That's just how it works. I know sometimes, I'm talking about in general, right? I know when it comes to talking about, you might not get as much from black women, but here's what Jonathan Majors understands. If something happens between him and Meagan Good, he's not going to be demonized like that in white America. And that's the one thing that black men don't look at when we start dealing with women who are not from our community. When we deal with women who are in the diaspora, something happens, people tend to not, and like I said, and men shouldn't be abused in relationships and women shouldn't be abused in relationships. But when you have a white woman and something happens to her, even if she's at fault, all of a sudden, everything that you've done can be wiped away. And this is what a lot of black men need to understand. You might be with the woman, she's nice, but what happened that one day where she knows that if she calls the cops on you and you're not going to have nobody to defend you and you could be in the right. What happens because she's in the white? And this is why the brother's coming back over to the black. He got his wake-up call. That's what it is. And I'm going to tell you, as a brother that I've lived, in 3 different continents. North America, Europe, now Africa. I can tell you, man, that wake-up call is real wherever you go. And this is why it is time out for brothers to really start trying to get this thing back together in the black community, in the black world. Black people have to start supporting each other. It's the only way, right? I get what we're saying. I've never had problems dating white women. I ever had no problems dating whoever else. But you don't understand that if something happens and you don't have the backing of your community, I know what you're talking about, what community, build it then. Be valuable to it so you can have some backing. Jonathan Majors, we saw that all his friends couldn't help him. All his Hollywood friends, Michael B. Jordan can't come out and talk about because he employed by the same people that he employed by. Even though he got money, he ain't got no power. You see how that it is? Even Damon John, worth all that money, ain't got no power. It's different than somebody who's self-made like Corey Holcomb. Even though he might not have the money that Damon John got, but he got a lot of influence. Tariq Nasheed ain't the same amount of money as Damon John, but he can stand on the square. You see? And when Jonathan Majors had his issue, he had no support. That's why he want to link back himself with the black community. And the best way to do it is with black women. We all know that. Let me get with Meagan Good. It's lonely out here by myself. And when the sister's going to support that because you're back with a black lady. The same thing with Michael B. Jordan. When Michael B. Jordan got with Lori Harvey, the sisters was really supporting that. And I get it. But what I'm saying is you can't leave the only community that you have. That's what black men don't get with. They don't understand that. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, brothers. The higher you get, the better you do. And I know you might have a white wife or somebody else, but bro, you only got one chance for something to mess up. That's all you got. Then once you get out there and you're going to be out there alone by yourself and they start demonizing you with those black male stereotypes, same thing with Jonathan Majors. What did the police officer say? Look, man, you're a big black man. How could she have hurt you? And now he's talking about racism all of a sudden. Well, you knew that was going to happen, bro. You thought that this was an equal country? You thought that in 2023 in this United States that you don't have people who are racist or biased against blacks because you're a superstar, because you're Hollywood? No. Always remember who you are. And I always tell this story. When Ukraine and Russia were at the height of the war, just like last year, I happen to be living in Poland. my mom, who was not a big fan of me being in Africa all the time, she was trying to get me to come back to the United States. But I was telling her, no, everything is safe here. So I said, Mom, if anything happens to me, if anything happens in this city that I'm living in, I can just go to Warsaw to United States Embassy. Now here I am thinking I'd have made it because I got a few dollars. I'm doing pretty good. She said, son, always remember, you need to get up out of there now, because if push come to shove, your passport not gonna matter because you're black. They can easily identify you as somebody that's African that's trying to pretend with an American accent. So while the blood is running warm in your veins, always remember who you are and the prejudices that are against you. I will never forget that statement as long as I live. I don't care how much money I got. I'm always going to remember all the time who I am, what I am, and what community I come from. And if I'm ever going, I don't care how many problems we got in the black community, I'm always going to stick by the people, because sticking by myself ain't going to work. I'd rather struggle and build something over here with the brothers and the sisters than to be over there with them, and if something happened, I don't have no kind of help. That's what I'm trying to get black men to understand. 'Cause I've seen so many black men. Look at O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson got clear of that. Not guilty. If his wife was black and not guilty, we wouldn't be talking about him today like that. But he got demonized for that. Had to pay expenses for Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Smith and all that. He's been demonized, lost his Heisman, all of that, because in the white court of public opinion, and OJ still out there messing with them other ladies. He haven't learned yet. And all you got to do is let experience teach you. I'm learning from that mistake. So if Jonathan Majors, look, come over here and get you some Meagan Good and deal with that attitude. You go over there, bro, whatever you think it's going to be, you better off dealing with her than have somebody lie on you and say they hit you and ruin your career. Every day of the week, I'll bet on the black. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.